to our last special guest, Elizabeth from the National Parents Organization. So your guests today are the co-host, my good friend Kindra Reiber, and also me, the Doctor of Digital, Mick Smith, and our reaction to Elizabeth. So welcome, Kindra.
Hello, Mick. Good to see you again. Yeah,
Likewise.
yeah. We had a great guest, Elizabeth, the other
Awesome.
day, and we didn't even have a chance to catch up and talk about and reflect on what she had kind of told us. And she was full of information. So I really hope the listeners take a chance to go back and listen to her episode because it was absolutely amazing and full of information. So let's dive in, Mick.
All right, sounds great. Let's go. It was a great session.
Yeah. So, what kind of things or thoughts or reactions did you have from it?
Well, I went through the stuff that I said was important to point out. The last that they have, the 2019 Shared Parenting Report Card, and very interesting. Two states, because I was very curious, are there any good signs and signs of hope in the country? So Kentucky and Arizona look good. They got A's. 7 states in the District of Columbia got B's. And there's that really fat middle. 25 states received C's, 15 states received D's, and 2 states received F's. So if I was trying to encapsulate that, that means 17 states are D's and F's, and only 9 are B's and A's, which means the United States is not doing a very good job on shared parenting.
Yeah, we got a long way to go. That is for sure. And I think one of the things that came up that was a correlation between your book and what she was saying was the best interest of the children, right? And we really talked about that a little bit and just how that can be so convoluted in the court system and what somebody sees as the best interest of the children in one aspect might not see it in another. And it's really driven by the financial backing of
Yeah.
lawyers, court systems, and how much money they can make off of it.
It's sounding very corrupt, Kendra.
Yes, yes, I agree. But Elizabeth did give us hope that people are starting to see it and it's really starting to come to life. And it's an exciting time to really get involved with your legislation. And so I want to encourage all the listeners to definitely figure out who your state rep is. You can go to the website and figure that out. And I don't have that quickly, but I can look that up. And you can figure out who your state rep is within your territory and then you can email them or call them. They'll be happy to set a meeting to talk about it. And so even though you and I have gone through it and I'm still in it, it might not help us immediately, but it's going to help long term with parents that might go through this in the future and kids that might not have to if we can help put a stop to it.
And that was a great point, I think, because you're right in saying, let's have a little beacon of hope here, because what she's saying is there is a ratio to say how many people email not taken as seriously, phone calls a little bit more seriously, but really important. The idea was go to your local representative, which I've done already too, and to say we have to go and show up and be present. And when you do that, the legislators will begin to listen. So if you want to become those A states, then this is how you do it. But you have to get involved and you have to step up to the plate. And I think that's a major takeaway from what Elizabeth was saying.
Yeah, I agree. And I just quickly looked it up. If you go to house.gov/representatives, you
Mm-hmm.
can find your representative by putting in your zip code. So it breaks it down by whatever territory they've outlined within your state. So, and they're all very open. You know, I was like you, Mick. I did not know a representative, and they were all very open to hearing from me because I had moved a couple of times. So, and then I contacted one that wasn't even my state rep, but in favor of the bill that we're trying to get passed in Ohio. And so they're really open. They are.
And Elizabeth is a great resource. She's emailed me following the session, and she also said what you can do. She looked at what was in California because that's where I am currently. And they said, well, here's the reaction, some thoughts on what is SB 166 in California, because they are going to reintroduce it the next legislative session. So guess who's going to be contacting the local reps before then to say, let's do a better job of this? Because like she pointed out, there were some limitations here. That California I saw was actually a D state in their criteria.
Wow.
And where I was at the time, Pennsylvania is also a D state. So
Wow.
both are very low. And you might be surprised because when I looked at Ohio, because things don't sound so good in Ohio for you, it's a C state. But
Mhm.
there's a lot of room to grow and you got to get involved. That's really, I think, a big takeaway.
Yeah, I would agree. That is the big takeaway. So, and the only way we can make changes if people get involved. So don't be scared to get involved. I know sometimes we get stuck in our own cases and our own litigation, but if you are an adult that has gone through parental alienation as a child, you're a great person to go to legislation to make some changes for those children that are up and coming because you've already experienced it, right? And if you're a parent that has already gone through it, we could use your help as well.
So there is hope. And we want to hear your stories. If you've got a story, come on the
Yeah.
show. We want to hear it. And if you are an expert in parental alienation and custody, we also want to hear from you because we want to keep these episodes rocking your way. Thanks, Kindra.
Thanks, Mac. Good talking to
You,
you.
you enjoy those deer in Ohio.
Oh, yes.
All right. Take care. Bye now.
You too. Bye bye, Mac.
Deus Vult.